With 2019 coming to a close, I decided to make a list of my favorite games that I played this year. So here it is, #Hexagon's Year in Gaming. Siege is an action-adventure game by EA. This game stars Faith, a runner who gets caught up in a corruption plot in the city. Runners are a group of couriers who transmit messages off the grid from the prying eyes of a city full of constant monitoring. You're not just going to be running through rooftops, you might have to enter buildings, wall run from one building to another, and so on. I never finished this game myself years ago, so now that I recently got it again, I went through it and had a really enjoyable experience going back to finish it myself. Outrun 2 was originally an arcade game ported to home consoles. It continues the Outrun gameplay and brings it into full 3D and looks beautiful. For an original Xbox game, it holds up amazingly well. The basic concept of this game is you driving as fast as you can through 5 different stages in a map made up of 15 stages. So each time you finish one stage, you have the option to go to one or the other. Going upwards takes you through the easier routes, while going downwards takes you to the harder routes. You have to go as fast as you can, drift through corners, and evade doing any mistakes. As most of the times, mistakes take too much time off your clock, and you'll probably end up losing just at the last stretch, making you lose just before the checkpoint. Other cars you can use are Ferrari, so that's probably the reason we haven't seen a port, remaster, or re-release, even though games like Panzer Dragoon Orta have made it to Game Pass and are on the Xbox One backwards compatible list, but by this point, the chances of getting another Outrun are low, even though, there's always the dreaded possibility of getting a mobile game like what happened with Crazy Taxi, so not holding my breath on that one.
Okay, here's the story. It was a windy, rainy day. Then, to everyone's surprise, I turn up and cheer up some kids. But then, what do you know? My magical crate is opened, the lock stolen. Magic leaks out, and the whole world is in danger. Thus, I, the most stylish cat ever to be seen in a hat, you know it, have to recapture all the loose magic which has transformed the house and recover the lock from Mr. Quinn, the nasty next door neighbor who's also collecting the magic in order to make himself immensely powerful. Hey, what's this him being immensely powerful? That wasn't in my script. Oh, okay. So the script's changed. And when exactly were you planning on telling me, the star of this little adventure? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, whatever. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the ride is almost over. Thank you for flying Cat in the Hat Airlines, and please get ready to press the start button so we can get this whole mess tidied up.
It's the Cat in the Hat, in case you didn't realize that by now. It's a movie tie-in, basically, following a part of the events from the movie. The humor's like the movie, not much to explain about the plot. The cat did it for me. The game is a platformer. You have to traverse the levels and chase Mr. Quinn out, beat enough levels, and keep progressing till you get to a boss battle with Mr. Quinn. The first one is Quinn TV, which is Mr. Quinn on a spaceship, and the arena is kind of circular, so you have to go to the circular arena, grab a enemy, and then throw it at the exhaust port in his ship when it opens, and you keep doing that, and his attacks keep changing, making it harder for you to hit him, things like that. Pretty basic concept, you know. It's a platformer. We've been having platformers since the '80s. It's one of the first types of games that showed up. The game plays very nicely for a mid 2000s tie-in game. It's one of those games that makes you keep wanting to go because the levels are actually kind of long. There's a bit of a collectathon aspect because there's like a lot of coins or little orbs and stuff. There's keys to unlock stuff, but I'm not completely sure if that's just padding for a requirement later on, or simply getting you back to collect stuff and say I did it, I got the stuff. One interesting thing is that the first battle, Queen TV, was way harder than I expected the first time I played it. When I actually came back to the level to record for this, instead of just repeating the boss battle with Mr. Quinn, things 1 and 2 are piloting the ship instead of Mr. Quinn, so the boss battle goes the same as normal, but with the cat fighting things 1 and 2 on the ship. It was a very interesting addition that I would not expect them to do. I mean, you know, it's a tie-in video game. You didn't have to go the extra mile for that. But these old tie-in games actually have a lot of charm to them. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the latest and greatest in the Super Smash Bros. Series, it brought back every character that was cut, including Pichu. The game follows the classic Smash Bros. Gameplay and builds upon it, featuring new characters such as Simon Belmont, Ridley, King K. Rool, and the Inkling. You also got online battles like in previous games. You got arenas. You also got modes like Squad Strike and other stuff. There's still the local multiplayer for up to 8 players, which just creates chaotic fun. Of course, the game also features DLC like the last one. This time, new characters joined like Banjo Kazooie, Joker, and Terry. They joined the fight, and with new ones on the way, I'm sure this game will stay fresh for a long time. Bloody Roar 3, the third entry in the series, moves from the PlayStation to the PlayStation 2. Bloody Roar 3 is a 3D fighting game in which all fighters can transform from human to beast, bringing different attacks, an extra attack button, and special moves called beast drives. It also introduces new characters, the most important being Xion, who becomes a recurring villain in subsequent games. The game also introduces Hyper Mode, which makes your beast transformation stronger, but in turn, once it runs out, you're unable to transform into normal beast mode for the rest of the fight, making it a double-edged sword. After playing Bloody Roar Primal Fury, I got interested in playing the others, so I picked up Bloody Roar 3 and Bloody Roar 4. This game reminds me of why I love fighting games. Bloody Roar 4, the fifth and last entry in the series, it introduces Nagi Desperius, an original beast mode. Ryoho and Mana, a tag team duo with Mana being the beast transformation and her staying in the background for most of the moves, and Reggie the Crow. Characters from Primal Fury, the game after 3, also come back, so you also have Chronos, and secret characters Koryu and Uranus come back as well. The game mechanics were changed, and now the beast gauge and health bar are connected. If you lose all your health, you automatically transform into beast mode and use the beast gauge as your health. You can also use up health to fill up your beast gauge, and you can also do this to enter hyper mode. which lasts for the remainder of the round. At a glance, it might feel like the game just wants you to go straight into beast mode, but that's not the case. You have to time it properly, like always, and it also adds another layer of strategy. The game also features in-game cutscenes with bad voice acting, lip syncing, which is, always hilarious to watch.
Forget about me.
Black Ops 3 upgrades the gameplay from Black Ops 2 and introduces new movements such as the hover, wall running, and sliding. We still have a campaign, multiplayer, and zombies. I haven't played much of the campaign since it wasn't really interesting from what I played. Multiplayer is a new experience since you're going to need to readjust due to the advanced movement and the specialist system. Zombies is similar but different. We got new weapons with a few returning. The slide move replaces the dolphin dive. Now you take 3 hits to go down instead of 2 without jogging on. The new perk Widow's Wine, which replaces your grenades with Widow's Wine grenades. These explode when hit and create a web that slows down zombies. You also have the Gobble Gum system, in which you put 5 gums and these have a temporary varying effect, such as zombies ignore you, stronger melee attacks and stuff. You buy them from the machine mid-game and it rolls one of the 5 gums and gives it to you. You also have the Mega Gobble Gums, which you have to roll for in Dr. Monty's factory using Liquid Divinium. Liquid Divinium is obtained by buying things in-game, buying DLC packs, or using currency for it, so it's a microtransaction thing. But acceptable since you can make Divinium by playing, and the classic Gobblegums are pretty good on their own right. Black Ops 3 has the Shadows of Evil map as the in-game on-disc map, the Giant at the remake as DLC at launch. The other DLC maps are the Reisendrach, an Austrian castle, Setsubo no Shima, a Division 9 in the Pacific Island, Gorod Krovi, a war-torn Stalingrad, and Revelations, where all ends. Of course, the Zombie Chronicles Pack 2, which includes the maps from World War except the Reese, all the maps from Black Ops 1 except Call of the Dead and 5, and Origins from Black Ops 2, giving you an extra 8 maps along with the 6 new ones for a total of 14 in-game maps, making this the biggest Zombies experience. This game is excellent all around and can easily be called the best Zombies experience to date.
You'll soil my skin for the final time.
Hey, it's time to make some crazy money. Are you ready? Here.
Crazy Taxi. You're a taxi driver tasked with picking up people and taking them to their destination as fast as possible to make the most dough possible, with no one to stop you. It's just you on the road. To make more money, you have to perform tricks such as drifting, weaving through traffic, and jumping off ramps, which gives you more money when you take the customer to their destination. The faster you take them, the better rank you get. If you take them while you get a rank of fast, you get a few more seconds added to your clock. If you take them under normal conditions, you get 2 more seconds. If you take them under slow condition, then you get no money. You have to try to keep them as fast as you can so you can keep making money and keep making time so you can keep playing. There's another mode which is just basically the same rules, but it has another map. So now you have another map in a different city so you can learn how to play in a different environment, giving you another experience. This game is a classic and I'll always be coming back to it from time to time.
Okay, High Roller, it's time to make some real dough. Here we go.
Crazy Taxi 3 High Roller. The game comes with the West Coast level from Crazy Taxi, the Small Apple level from Crazy Taxi 2, which is now set at night, and a new level called Glitter Oasis, which is based on Las Vegas. You also have the jump ability. All the levels are modified for Crazy Taxi 3. You also have groups of people. You can also, now you can pick up groups of 2, 3, or 4 people, in addition to just picking up one single customer. Overall, it's a nice improvement from the original, but this is a series where all games are good, so you can't really go wrong with picking one or the other. Any of these you play, it's gonna be good. World of Wars campaign is set during World War II, and during the campaign you either play as the Americans versus the Japanese, or as the Russians against the Germans. The multiplayer is mostly dead, but personally I've been able to find a few zombies matches and co-op campaign matches, but not really anything on multiplayer. The multiplayer is basically the same as the older Call of Duties or maybe the modern ones too, with create a class system, you choose your weapon, perks, and abilities and stuff. This was the first Call of Duty game to introduce zombies, with the level Nocturne Totem, and the DLC maps were Rock, Numa, and the Reese. Each one introducing new stuff like the Wonder Wolf, the Perca Colas, the Pack a Punch, and stuff like that. So if you want an excellent campaign, an unforgiving zombies experience, and basically dead multiplayer, you can't really go wrong. This game is worth it alone just for the campaign. Forza Horizon 4 was one of the games I was interested in getting when I was going to pick up the Xbox, but I ended up playing through it on Game Pass. The game is an open world racing game. When you progress far enough, other players will actually share the same role as yours, and you'll see them as ghost racers. You can interact with them if you challenge them to a head to head race, so you can race them through that, or you can also play events such as rally racing, dirt racing, drag racing, street racing, other events where you can just play with yourself against other drivatars in co-op, or you can play against rivals or player versus player. So there's a bunch of stuff to do, and other than racing, there's also the influence boards with which give you influence, which you need to progress in the game. There's also barn find cars. For those who don't know barn finds, a barn find is an abandoned car, usually obviously left in a barn or in a garage. You can find them around the world when they talk to you about them, and someone will fix them up for you, and you'll add it to your garage. I've personally found a Jaguar XJ and some other car with a weird name. Recently introduced is the Eliminator, Forza Horizons 4 Battle Royale mode, in which you're dropped into the world with a classic Mini Cooper and have to collect car drops to get better cars, and you also challenge other players to head to head races by honking your horn at them, all while the playable area shrinks. The most how far I've gone was about 8th. All the cars have a rank, so if your opponent is outranking you, you need to outskill them or hope they crash into something and lose their speed. It's a very chaotic and fun game mode. I didn't expect much from it when it was announced, but it's a great addition to an already great game. So this is an interesting one. I picked this up on the eShop. By coincidence, I just saw it and I ended up getting it. This is a puzzle game where you swing around vaporwave aesthetic inspired levels to get to the orb at the end. The faster you do it, the better rank you get. It's on a rank based on 3 stars. There are 100 levels, 20 on each zone, making that 5 zones. The last section of levels, the last 20, gave me trouble, but the last one is just another thing on its own. You have to be a real master at this game to beat it. I have not been able to beat it. It has a lot of content and it's actually pretty cheap, so you should pick it up. It's a very good game and it's a very enjoyable experience, especially for people like me who love puzzle games. So that's my list. What games have you played in 2019 or in whatever year you're watching this video that stuck out to you? Comment down below. If you like this video, like and subscribe for more content as soon as it's uploaded. This has been HashtagHexagon, signing out.